Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, bringing you the highlights review, and it's not really a highlights review show because there's nothing to write home about. West Ham have been absolutely smashed 6-0 at home against Arsenal. A man of the match performance from Declan Rice, tore us to shreds, 2 assists, 1 goal, and West Ham have walked away embarrassed by what we've witnessed. I'm embarrassed by what we've witnessed, and we're at home. We're at home, and we've set up so awful. Like, it's an extremely embarrassing performance. We're capable of getting. This is what's frustrating. We're capable of getting these results regularly at West Ham. Every season at West Ham. Newcastle a couple of years ago, Fulham earlier in the season, Liverpool earlier in the season. And West Ham currently sit eighth. We've gone from a 0 goal difference to -6. And I don't know how to begin to tell you how I actually feel, because I feel really deflated. I feel really gutted, really devastated, hurt, angry, pissed off. It's everything we love about our club. We love West Ham so much, and nobody enjoys West Ham getting beat. Not a single West Ham fan enjoys getting West Ham beat, let alone in that manner. And West Ham is bigger than one player. West Ham is bigger than one squad. West Ham is bigger than just one manager. West Ham is bigger than one coach. West Ham are bigger than the full equation, and we are what makes West Ham, and we want our best experience for our life, for our livelihoods, and we don't want that. And equally, I get. We can't live in that world of just looking back the way and going, well, we did win this and we did win that. Well, it can't justify getting beat 6-0 at home. It can't justify not winning a game in 2024. I always say it, and I'll always say it again. When you bring the ownership of our club up, it's a key factor. You have to bring our ownership of our club up, because you have to start from the top down. You have to work your way from the top down. And essentially, the decisions are on them. Now, who the decisions fall on in West Ham, not strengthening this team dramatically in the January window, is mind-boggling, is confusing, is absolutely mind-boggling. It really, really is. And I don't know where to begin with that. But no passion, no desire, no nothing. I've put the link in the chat just now, so if you click it, it'll take you into the green room. Put your name in, and you can come in and have a chin wag with me, and we can get discussing today's game. Essentially, though, listen, I'm as devastated as you, who's watching this, and it does feel like there was an element of not trying. Did they look like they were downing tools? Did they look like they actually cared? Were they fighting for the shirt defensively? I mean, it starts obviously with the manager. I mean, choosing Zuma to start the game from the start was utterly horrifying, to be honest with you. And if that's not the final nail in the coffin for that decision, then I don't know what else is. If it's not, if it's not the final nail in the coffin for the Tommy Suchek situation, then I don't know what is. I don't know why we're at home and we're playing central defensive midfielders to the level that we are. I am as frustrated as anyone in this chat, and it's tough. I don't, sometimes I'm like, fuck it, why am I doing this? Just go away and go and enjoy time with your family, because that's the way it kind of feels for me right now. Is it worth it? Is this actually worth it? And do you know what? Maybe that plays into the hands of the decision, which is people are going, do you want Moyes in or Moyes out? I mean, that has to be a topic of conversation today. It has to be. How can it not be? You've been smashed so badly at home. And honestly, if it wasn't for 2 or 3 really good Areola saves and maybe 3 or 4, clinical, like Arsenal players not being clinical in front of goal, that could have been a record score today. A record score today. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment. And do you know what? I hate saying it. I'm West Ham through and through. I would travel. I've traveled so many thousands, millions of miles over my years of following the club. I've spent so much money traveling watching the club, and I've been there when we've been beaten 5-0 against Liverpool at Anfield. If I'd have taken Freddie there today, I don't know how I would have reacted. I don't know how I would have felt. And maybe the blessings were in the fact that the trains were cancelled. Maybe, I don't know. Um, Come on in. Come on in and have your say. Join me. Help me. Help me is what I'm saying until Russ comes on. I'm not trying to get into that. Well, do you know what? You have to get. It has to come up for the topic of conversation. No team can go on a run like we've gone on and get smashed 6-0 at home without them even remotely mentioning, is it time for the boss to go? And it could be. It could be. And I don't know who you blame. I don't know if you blame Tim Steidten, if you blame David Moyes, if you blame Mark Noble, if you blame David Sullivan for the decision for not strengthening in the winter. But this even goes back to maybe last summer, not strengthening enough in several areas of the park. And we've desperately needed to strengthen. Desperately needed to strengthen. Chris says, I can't see where the next 3 points are coming from the way Moyes plays. He must see that old players are not keeping up with the game. Well, you've hit the nail on the head there, and I don't get it as well. And that's what makes it, if they don't make a decision, which I still don't think they will after today's game, it throws the Nottingham Forest game into an absolute must-win game for West Ham, because you can't go and if you receive a defeat, let alone a heavy defeat against Nottingham Forest, then how can you stick by this opportunity? And then, I'm starting to talk myself into the decision that maybe we should look at looking at a new manager, because if we look at a new manager now and we're not going to get relegated, then you've got the time to build upon this. So what are we doing? Are we consolidating, trying to get a kind of last minute European opportunity? Or are we willing to try and rebuild now when it's an opportunity you're not going to go down, when you've not having to bring a manager in under the stress levels of trying to stay up in the Premier League? Maybe we are in an opportunity to progress under a new manager right now with a squad who, utilize the players that we've got, fluctuate it, change it up a little bit. What do I know? David Moyes has to go now from Stuart. Is this the fatal asteroid for the Moisasaurus? Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it is. I think next week could be must win. I think it could be a must win. You can't bounce off of that. You can't bounce off of losing 9 goals in 2 games from 2 teams that you beat earlier in the season. And it's not just about the scoreline, it's about the mannerism and how West Ham played this game today with absolutely nothing. No energy, no decision making, no one taking control of the game, no captain, nothing. Bring in Potter now, Sat Moyes. Fresh blood is needed now. No wins this calendar year from Michael. If pundits say, what more do you want? Not that shit. Yeah, do you know what? There's only a certain amount of time and place that you can come up with saying we've won something, and it's great, and I thank him for it. It is wonderful. But there's not enough there for us to turn around and try and defend. You can't defend that. You cannot defend that. We need to rebuild both on and off the pitch in the summer. Moyes is tactically inept. Why is that not glaringly obvious? The 2 main attackers given free roles to do whatever they wanted. Yeah, and the thing is with Arsenal, if you noticed Havertz, you noted Martinelli, you noted Trossard, they never stayed in one position. They kept crossing over all the time, confusing our midfield. And you saw Souček and James Ward-Prowse and Alvarez just ball watching sometimes. That's why, in particular with their first goal, it was so concerning, because it was so basic. It was so basic. Ball whipped in, header, and no urge to win that ball back. And I am worried about where these players' mindsets are at. Chris, hard to see where the next point has come from, let alone 3. What more do you want? Should be sacked today from Jude. Can't see us winning another game. Where are the goals coming from? Victor says, why was Souček on the pitch? DWP did balls, yes, is good, but what else does he bring? To beat Arsenal, you need to cancel out Odegaard and Saka. Job done. Yeah, and I don't know where that West Ham have gone. I don't know where our desire has gone. It's like our season's been thrown up in the air because we lost our 3 best outlets earlier in the window, and we have no plan B, but we've always known that. It's not just this season. We've not had a plan B for so long. And unfortunately, if you get found out, you get found out. And unfortunately, I do think we may have been found out. We cannot go to Nottingham Forest next week and we have to raise our standards by 100%. I'm just looking at their goal just now, standing still. Honestly, you need to rewatch this game back. There's like 3 Arsenal players attacking the corner with not one West Ham player using the energy. Ball up over the top, breaks the offside track. Saka goes one-on-one with the keeper. Honestly, it's really, really bad. Hi, Anton. Wow, what a crap game. No passion from anyone. Yep, absolutely not. It was horrid. Nothing in attack. 1 shot on goal. The team didn't appear to be playing as a team, manager included. You could say that again. Thanks for the commentary, Anton. Never seen so many empty seats. You're right. Ruby Tuesday. Did the players down tools? Are they trying to get Moyes sacked? You could be, you could, yeah. And that's a record today as well. What, worst in the Premier League? Worst home game? Is it? Worst home defeat in the Premier League? I think it is. For the quality of our squad to be playing the football it does, it's criminal in itself. Please, for the love of God, sack the zombie pretending to be a manager. I reckon players feel the same as fans. Arteta didn't celebrate as it's only little old West Ham. Victor says we have players with no pace and can't pass wind, let alone football. Jamie's in the house, mate. What can we say after that? I thought Fulham and Liverpool away were bad. Yeah, and that's the thing. They were away. We were at home. You know, what do we do? I'll bring him in. Let's bring him in. Maybe.
I'll bring him in. Oh. Shell shock, mate. Shell shocks.
Russ, I don't know how to explain it. Like, obviously, that's indefensible.
It is, yeah. Shell shock. Yeah, I mean,
and I'll pass over to you. It's indefensible from the manager's point of view, but equally, it's indefensible from the player's point of view because, I'm watching Saka's goal now, right, in the second half, his second goal, and he's just turning our defense inside and out, mate. And most of their goals, bar probably Declan Rice's goal, were very, very basic footballing goals.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I just thought the ironic thing is the first sort of 20 minutes we looked up for it, and we were like putting pressure on the goalkeeper, putting pressure on the defence. And I thought this is good, and then I think the first goal just literally took the wind out of our sails, totally, man. And then from then on, that was it. We just seemed to lose any full momentum, anything really. It was like the second half was like, well, we could have easily packed up and gone home. To be honest, the play, some of them tried, but still, it was. You walked away with it thinking we were lucky to go with 6. Honestly, if it weren't for Ariola, can't look and say some him. Could have been a lot worse. That equals.
It really could have been, Russ. It's not an exaggeration there either.
No,
it really could have been.
No. Could have been 10. Could have easily been 10 today. You think you look at the 2 games beforehand, the League Cup and the Emirates game, you could assume relative luck, but also we just looked like toothless going forward. We just don't have any oomph. We fight for the ball midfield, great, and then we sort of do a little bit, and then we stop, and we turn back round, and we give it back. And I mean, for me, Zuma was a mistake waiting to happen all game. And that's the trouble when you put your captain as being someone who can get injured quite a lot. For me, it was like I just thought I just literally that second half was like pointless, absolutely pointless. You might as well just thrown Ollie Scars on for 25 minutes. You know what I mean?
I've never seen you so active. I've never seen you so active on your on text messaging, to be honest with you. And people watching have probably never seen me so inactive during a watch along. Because that's tough. We've not won a game now in 2024, Russ, and we're on the 11th of February. We've conceded 9 goals in 2 games in the Premier League. And
and haven't
It's
scored either.
and haven't scored either. And another big issue is it's not necessarily just about. I know it's about the result. It's about the mannerisms and how we were dealt that blow today, and that blow came from decision making from the manager and also on the park. Because, like you said, first 10 or 15 minutes, I look back at it and I think, what an embarrassment I am. Sitting there going, oh, close, or Kudos steals the ball off of Arsenal, and we can get the ball off them, and we you know I think Rhea made one save in the 80th minute from a Kudos chance, and that was it. And I'm like, what the actual fuck?
But then, to be honest, to be perfectly fair, you know, we always turn up at the beginning. The fans always turn up. They always sing bubbles. They always do that, and you know, and there was encouragement in the first 15 minutes. You're thinking, hang on, we're not going to sit back as much. It seems we were like on the front foot. But that first goal just literally took the wind out of our sails. We look very fragile, and that's why I've been talking about leaders. And I just don't think. I look at Zuma, and I turn to him as our captain, and I'm thinking, you know, if it was number 41 as our captain, you'd see him ranting and raving. It might do nothing for the players on the pitch, but for the fans, it gives something. And Zuma just like, oh, another goal, another goal, rather than shouting at people. And you know, it might mean nothing for the players, but the fans need that sort of grit to sort of respond to. I mean, like, you know, 5-0 down, the people that were left, same bubbles. But, you know, there was a massive thing of bubbles, losing 5-0 against Arsenal, which was bizarre. Yeah, and it's just, it seems every season we get a couple of them as a West Ham fan. But this one just hurts a lot more. I think maybe because at home, I mean, obviously it's the heaviest defeat we've had at London Stadium. It's our heaviest Premier League defeat ever. It's our heaviest defeat in the top flight since 1965 when we lost 6-2, 8-2 at home to Blackburn or someone like that. I think I put in the chat. Yeah, it's just very, very sort of demoralising, really. It's just been a very, and you know, and fair play to people wanting to leave at half time. Certainly within their prerogative, because they weren't going to see much in the second half, were they? In all honesty, and I don't, you know, when people call people out for doing that, it's there. They can do whatever they want. They can choose their feet, and that vision, that view of the drone shot, people walking out at half time. It's all over the media. That's the type of stuff which gets noticed, doesn't it? Really, and so.
Well, let's come on to, you know, me and you as fans, right? You know, we've been kind of, you know, I'm not throwing us under the bus by discussing it, because the elephant in the room, obviously, when it comes to the manager, you know, Russ, not many managers would survive a 6-0 loss at home on the back of a 3-0 loss on back of not winning a game in February 2024 in the year of 2024. Not many people survive that. Me and you sometimes look at, you know, the last 3 years of success and think, yeah, that's great. The concern I do have, and fair play to Dan said it for such a long time, you know, he said, if we don't get Europe this year, we could falter back into an old West Ham, which is, you know, we don't attract the best players. We can't, you know, we don't want to fall back into a trap of being in a relegation zone. We're not going to be there this year, but equally though, since we've started speaking about trying to get fucking 40 points, we just can't get 40 points, mate. Like we should have had 40 points 6 games ago, 5 games ago, 4 games ago. And I think the concern I've got now is that when we're not going to get really relegated, maybe there is a benefit to change. Maybe there is an opportunity to change. Maybe there is the chance for us to actually go, do you know what? Let's bring something in. Let's try something new. Because I tell you what, Russ, trying to do something new in the second half when you're 4-0 down against Arsenal at home, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No. You know, you do need a new leader at that point. You've just said it there. We're relying on a captain who's got no legs, who came off at half time because he, in my opinion, was just, like you said, shrugging off the goals. Tommy Souček, ineffective in the game, but then you make 2 substitutions and you do like for like. So how's that going to change anything? It's not solidifying, not getting smashed. So well done. You got beat 4-0 in the first half and got beat 2-0 in the second half. Well done for progression, but it's shit progression.
It is.
It's
It is. It is. And I know what you mean. I understand what you mean. That at the end of the day, the trouble is nothing's going to happen. Nothing. I can't see anything happening until the end of the season. Even with this result, I can't. And that's not me and that's not me, you know, saying I don't want it to happen, but it ain't going to happen. And the reason being is that I might talk about it tomorrow because I think it's a really important point to make in terms of, unfortunately, the way football is. You know, it is a football business, and it's the business side which I think is the issue here. Because I think the business side rules the football side, in all honesty, in terms of who you buy in terms of what money you make. Now, for us, to be perfectly honest, to maintain our current levels of wages and stuff like that, we need European football now. It's not a nice to have now. It's part of our. You see what happens beforehand. It's part of what we need to do.
Can I just wanted while you're talking about exactly what you're talking about, so keep that point in your head. I had to bring this comment up here because it's not the
Great
end of the
point.
world, right?
Yeah.
I get that, but this comment, Trevor, is in relation to what Russ is saying. So Russ, carry on about European football.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, looking at, I said, I'll do a proper show about it tomorrow. I think tomorrow, there's no point in doing player ratings tomorrow. So we'll talk about the business side of the club, because I think that's really important, because that will basically assume, it's not about the player's decision. It's not about the football, unfortunately, in terms of, you've got to think realistically, who's going to make the decision about who's in the dugout? It's not you, it's not me, it's not the fans, it's not the fans leaving at half time. It's unfortunately the board. And there is a benefit of maintaining Premier League status. There is a cash benefit. There's a benefit in terms of European football now, because looking at the difference um, in terms of our breakdown of our monies that came in last season, it is majority on broadcast. And where's the broadcast money come from? Being in the Premier League and being in Europe. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters to them. Maybe not qualifying for Europe next year, not only on the playing staff, but maybe in terms of the dugout, will have a detrimental effect on our money coming in. And so, it is important that we maintain some sort of European presence, because it's the broadcast money. The actual match day, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but the match days, what we earn from the match day, is something like 10% of what we actually get in the money in the coffers. So you see the commercial side and the broadcast side, from a business perspective, that's what's important to the club, because that's the money, unfortunately.
The
And
thing as well
someone
is,
said,
sorry, go for it.
you carry on, man.
I was just going to say, Trinny's saying Bonus not a number 9 either. Don't care what people think. He lacks
Agreed.
aggression and strength. And you're right. And there was a time and a place to play him there, and it's not now anymore. It's done. And I, you're completely right, Trinny. You're completely right. Um,
Agreed.
if nothing else, Moyes
Agreed.
should have been sacked after the transfer to Baku. And the thing is, though, I mean, Gary, this can go all the way back to essentially where is the blame coming from in terms of our January transfer dealings? I don't know where the blame comes from, because if Moyes was brought players and he declined them, knowing we were going into the rest of the season with a squad, then that falls on Moyes. If it wasn't Moyes and it comes on Sullivan, then you know what, Russ, I've always got the concern when we've got Sullivan. I've always got the
Yeah.
concern. No matter what progression the club make on or off the field, West Ham fans are obviously trying to make the best of a bad situation right now, as the noise you can hear in the background.
Yeah. Someone kicking a football up in the air. It's the most excitement they've had all day, to be honest. You're right. And I think, for all, and I think what's really interesting is looking back. So, we're in a different world now than we were under Greenwood, under Lyle. Football it's run by money. So for me, I was looking at John Lyle's, league positioning over his tenure. After 85-86, we were like 15th, 16th, then we got relegated. In today's world, John Lyle would have been sacked probably before we got to that relegation. And unfortunately now, we're in a situation where you won't get that longevity of management anymore. And so, for me, it is about the business side. If it comes under risk in terms of our Premier League survival, if our European aspirations seem to come under things, that's when a decision will be made. I think, in my eyes. But again, we don't know, do we? The fact
Everyone's
is, he's
saying
only got,
credit to Russ for staying until the end. Russ has to stay to the end. Russ, would you
I've
have
got to
left if you
say,
didn't have to have stayed to the end?
no, I don't. That's not what I do. Some
No,
people
I
do,
don't
and
do the same.
that's their
Yeah.
prerogative. But I don't leave. Never have, never will. Even before working for them, I don't leave. To be honest, you've actually you've caught you haven't got a rush now. If you left at half time, you might have got a bit of a rush. You might have got in the stop go sons, but not now.
Russ, do you think the players gave up today?
I think they gave up after about. I think after that fifth goal, yes. I think they did. I think a percentage of them. And again, it goes to me down to leaders. With those types of games, that's when you need. That's when you need generals. That's when you need people for all the flashy stuff. That second half should have been right. Let's just go for it. Have a go. Put some pride into the game, but it wasn't. It just didn't happen at all.
Russ, when was the last time you done the player ratings?
Great shout.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. To be honest. Maybe the Bournemouth game. Maybe I can't remember if I did it or not. The Bournemouth game, but yeah, a few weeks at least. Maybe. Yeah, probably I can't remember, but it hasn't been regular. There's no point. How can you rate that side? What are you going to give them? All 2 and 3s? That's what they deserve.
I'm gonna give everyone in the chat their chance to do a poll. The famous poll, right? Now listen, I'm not saying this poll will not define what the decision of the fan base is as a whole. However, it probably would define right now how the fans feel because
I think we know. That's the thing. I think we know.
I know.
That's my issues with a poll. Is I think we know, all we're doing is putting up. We know that the fan base is unhappy. You've just lost 6-0. Even if we were top of the league and we lose 6-0 to a London rivals, we're going to be pissed off already. So, yeah, it's
There you go. Everyone's been asking us for a poll. So I've put it in the chat now. So there you go. The poll's in. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna put this over to you, Russ. Then before we go and take time to cook, because we could be here all day being depressed and we need to go and live our lives and try and have a bit more excitement about our day if we can. Russ, do we sack? Right, I'm gonna have 2 questions for you.
Good idea.
Do we sack David? Do you think we should sack David Moyes right now?
I think I can see why.
I'll bring but I've got 2 questions. You have to. This is you. The first one is: would you sack David Moyes now?
After that performance, I would, but I know.
The next question is: will the board sack him?
No. But I think everyone, if you left that game today, and you asked them if they should sack David Moyes, everyone would have said exactly the same thing. So I think they would say that. But for me, I know it's not going to happen. Despite the fact he's got 6 months left in his contract, so in terms of what the outlay is going to be fine. For me, people are calling for Heitinga. To be honest, I don't think you need Heitinga. I think you just need fucking Kevin Nolan and Heitinga together. Just because that's what this side needs. It needs some fucking bollocks. It hasn't got any bollocks. It hasn't got it. And we lost that when 41 left and Craig Dawson left. Some British bollocks. That's what this side needs. And fair, it's like, I mean, when Phillips came on, you can see him trying to shout at people and dragging people. But that's what that's what we need. For all the flashy players in the world, sometimes games like this, bringing on like a Cornet would have done fuck all. Whereas, you want someone because everyone else is already down and out. You want someone who's just going to just put a bit of grit in this side. That's what it needs. And then we go to Forest next week, who looked quite good the other day. And then we've got Brentford, who turned over, Wolves at Molineux, So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks. But it's all right, because I've got a week off now. So, there's no problem at all. So there's no worries at all.
And I think my answer is the same as you. Yes, I would. And will they? No. But does this make Nottingham Forest game must win for him? Is this gone?
Yeah.
Or Russ, are we at that? Are we at that stage where we were with Fulham last year? Is Nottingham Forest a must-win game for David Moyes? Now, listen, I have to reiterate what I'm saying here. I'm basing this on the fact that we think the board will not move today, will not make any changes today. So this is based upon that. Please listen clearly. So the basis of this is we've not won in 2024. We've came off the back of the heaviest defeat in the Premier League at home. Nottingham Forest next, away from home, Russ. We don't win that game. Is his job under serious threat?
Yeah. Yeah.
A heavy defeat to Nottingham Forest. Is he gone?
Possibly, yeah.
A performance like that from the West Ham team will allude to a bad loss against Nottingham Forest.
For me, it's not about the performance; it's about the result. I don't think the result is I think it's all about the result. It isn't about the performance, because at the end of the day, it's about for them staying up. It's about them. Well, no, we're staying up already, but for them, it's about getting into Europe. It's about finishing as high up in the Premier League as possible. Because last year, you saw the figures. So last year, that's why it does come down to money. It does, unfortunately. It always will do now because there's so much money in the game. Last year to this year, we took less money this year, or last time actually, than the previous year, because we were 7 places down in Europe in the Premier League. Yes, we qualified for Europe. We qualified for a lesser European competition, and we also had to get a situation where we finished 7th, 14th instead of 7th. So therefore, I think we made about 16, 17, 18 grand, 80 million pound less money. So that's why we were in some sort of FFP. We had to put all of the stops out to make sure we didn't get any sanctions brought against us. This year would be different automatically because we qualified into Europa League, because we've also got the Declan Rice money, and also hopefully we finish better than 14th next year. And we should still do that. You know what I mean? But that Forest game, yeah, you're totally right. For me, and again, it's about the results. And unfortunately, in terms of the people making the decisions, it is based on a results-based business. So it will be. It will be. Do a poll. I'm pleased now. I love Pete.
I'll close the poll. I'll close the poll and give you the results, and then I'll do a second poll. Right, the second poll. So the first poll's done. So I'm going to start this out. Will the board sack Moyes tonight? There you go. There's the second. The second poll's in, and I'll give you the first poll results. Sack David Moyes, 84%, with an overwhelming majority have said yes.
Unsurprisingly.
Have said yes.
Unsurprisingly.
Right. So I've put the poll in now, which is the second one on the basis of that. Will the board sack Moyes tonight? There you go. That's in already. And we've already got the same amount of votes that we had for having the poll up for 4 minutes the last time out. Already voted now. It's going through the roof. Jens Houghton got in until the end of the season. If he doesn't go tonight or in the morning, then screw West Ham. Honestly, I can only hope he does not win another game. I can't think that way, to be honest with you, Ian. Trini, that is the business side. You get sacked for not meeting those goals. Surreal Frame says, if Moyes stays, we'll have about 4 players next season. I'm done with him and his shit now. Usual and quite right in every single thing he said. Let's be honest, his battering has been coming this season. By the way, we've been playing Bournemouth at home was the last straw from me. Arsenal still won't win the league. Even the games from Trini we won. Look at the number of shots the opposition have and missed. Lawrence says, I enjoyed watching the football under Lyle. To be honest, why would any fan not leave after 6-0 down? The thing is, Mikey, I've never left actually, and I've seen heavy defeats as well over my time. But that doesn't mean that I'm better than the next person. Everyone's just entitled to do what they want to do. I've just never left. I've always been that kind of crazy optimist, and I don't know why. And you know what? I don't know. I've never done it.
No,
and I don't disagree with people doing it either. You know, if the person beside me left, I'd be like, see you later, mate. Do you know what I mean? And they have done.
It's their hard-earned money, and they can do what they want. You know, and if it comes. I mean, it was at 4-0 down. It's not going to be a
Well, Russ,
miracle.
I've seen people leave when we're fucking drawing one each and lose and miss that last minute goal. Or
Yeah,
if you think about, Wimbledon fans leaving against West Ham when West Ham are leading 3-0 with 10 minutes to go and they come back and win the game 4-3 in the last 10 minutes of the
yeah,
game back in Upton Park. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It just happens.
It does.
Russ's points on commercials is spot on and should indicate Moyes' position going forwards. I'll end the next poll. I will end the next poll. The second one is in, and we'll send this to the club and see what they want to happen.
Send it to Hugh, and he'll forward
I'll
it.
send it to Hugh, and he'll contact the club.
You can tell.
Will the board sack David Moyes tonight? And I've never. Russ, show me that again. I have never seen that area so quiet. Holy shit! Is that's this? I bet you they've not even got the stop and go signs today.
No. That's gone. That's gone, man. Yeah, I know. I usually can't get any signal here at this point of time.
That's true.
Because there's so many people here, and then you lose me because I go into the buildings anyway in a minute. But yeah, so there's no stop and signs. I haven't stopped once.
Do you know what? They're actually letting people go through Westfield today because there's hardly anyone in. That's why. Yeah,
exactly.
So you might not have to go around anymore, Russ. Right, it's 79% of people say no, the board will not sack him.
Exactly. So for every poll, despite the fact that you've got this thing, but it's because, as I said, one of the main reasons is a commercial reason. Regardless of what everyone thinks of him, he's a safe pair of hands. You know what I mean? And I know it today doesn't look like it, but you look, relatively speaking, in terms of our Premier League, setup at the moment. We're not going down this year.
No, I know that, but I get that, and I've always been saying that the safe pair of hands, the consolidation. We're in a bit of a unique situation, though. By consolidating, we're not going down. So maybe people could look at this as, if you're going to take the gamble, like what we need to learn, right, is me and you as the fans will talk about this, but the board don't see it like this.
No.
Me and you look at it pragmatically and realistically and go, well, there's a gamble to take. It's now because we won't get relegated. So let's just say for talking's sake, you bring a Michael Carrick in now, then he's going to have the best chance to succeed because he's not under pressure of getting relegated.
Yeah, it is true. But unfortunately, the people we want aren't going to be ready yet. Because if they were, we'd have already had them in. Carrick, if you're looking at anyone we've been linked to, all of them are in the middle of something they're fighting for, which is too right, because that's why we're interested in them. And so there's no. So the alternative is to get rid of him and bring in Heitinga and We're still going to have to wait 3, 4, 5 months to bring in the person they want or the person they've already set up, or And so we'll pick up the results, because you will do. You'll get a manager bounce. You think that back to Brooking when he took over. Didn't work well with Kevin Keane when he took over as temporary caretaker manager. But there's going to be no serious appointment. If it was going to be Graham Potter or someone like that, someone who's available now, they'd have already been here. And so you're damned if you do and damned if you don't in terms of what happens.
There is a third poll in the chat. There is a third poll. The third poll is the following question: Has Moyes lost the dressing room, Russ?
Oh. I think he has lost some of it. I think he has. I think he always has.
If he's lost it or some of it, then the writing's on the wall, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think we, and I said this before. The assumption was, in the summer, he was going to walk away. That's what everyone was saying. That's what all the ITKs were saying. That's what all the rumours were saying. And a lot of players probably took heed of that. And then it didn't. And then there was some angst because of that, player angst. But then, as I said, one of the major ones being the Boeing negotiations. And then Boeing signs a 7-year deal. So for me, you don't go from not negotiating anything or say no to finally, oh yeah, I'll sign a 7-year deal. So for me, that's the plan. The plan is someone else comes in the summer. And it was almost like you tread water for the next. Yeah, Westfield is actually open, by the way. Just that's
mental. Actually... Just for people's reference, right? If you don't go, where Russ is just taking you from the walk up from the London Stadium back to where he is right now, there's usually first and foremost stop and go signs, and then you're held up in a kind of in just in loads of traffic of people, and
Yeah,
you can never get through it. Then they never, ever, ever let fans walk through Westfield,
no,
ever.
no. Not until like a good hour or hour and a half after the game, really. And even then, it's a bit like, yeah, it just shows you, innit? It just shows you the lack of the lack of crowds now. Um, and too right.
Yeah.
Don't blame them at all. Don't blame them at
Zuma is
all.
done. I'd rather see Ogbonna. Time for Moyes to go. Russ, what we actually need to do is get the phone call stuff back up and running again. I should have set that up in time and allowed people to phone in as well, because I think a lot of people prefer phoning in, don't they, than they do
Yeah, yeah,
jumping
yeah. We'll
on.
do. Yeah, we'll try and get it all sorted for. As I said, tomorrow we'll do. I might just have like a live rant session and just let people come on and blow off steam.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow will be even worse, because tomorrow you're going to go into the office or go to work,
And
and there'll be
any
Arsenal
Arsenal fan,
fans.
you know, and
Yeah,
you will know Arsenal fans.
exactly.
Um,
So
yeah,
you're going to be
I've
really
already
pissed
had
off by
I've already
lunchtime.
had a message. I've already had a message. And I was saying during the watch along that Freddie's out with his mate, and the
Yes,
dad's
I
looking
heard.
after
Yeah.
him. The dad said he's having a good time, except for when I told him the West Ham result. And he's
Oh,
like, "Oh my
bless him.
god!" Um,
Oh, bless his cottons.
since you started the poll, over 100 people joined the chat. People love a poll, don't they? Fucking hell.
Oh,
Honestly, holy shit, man! This poll chat's just the banter. Right, the third poll answers are in. Has Moyes lost the dressing room? And with an overwhelming yes, 85% of people have voted yes. I think we have lost DJ Russie B. Finally, it's very rare we get to keep him for as long as he's been on. We need to play attacking football like the way we used to do. Sack Moyes. No stop sign, goal signs needed here tonight. The board have no bollocks, Sullivan. Sell if you had any clue. The saddest part for me is my son is West Ham mad, went in his room, he turned it off at half time. It's just unfortunately what happens, isn't it? If they won't sack him, at least to remove him from the first team. We could be the richest club next season with all our sales. Jesus, did we get 2% possession? Pull up the turnip and show him the compost heap. Maybe that's how we chase close to the protest. I saw someone leave only to come back to take their hot dog. Send Moyes on gardening leave. Sullivan is gutless. He won't sack Moyes until the media tells him to. Moyes has to go today. Can Russ go and annoy West Ham fan TV? Board have to look at how fans feel about Moyes. Good night, boys. Time for bed. If I can sleep, we'll be heading very soon as well. Moyes, Arsenal are a good team. Well, you can say that again, mate. You can certainly say that again. By the end of the season, we will not be commercially strong, out of Europe, and not qualifying for the league position next season. We played a good team today. Sullivan seen this, and we should be playing better against them. Why aren't there any? Because they threw the game today. Rubbish tactics can't be ours. Why are we not linked with Potter, Russ? I think Potter wants the break, so I don't think we're going to get him. That's the biggest issue. Have a caretaker and bring in Michael Carrick in at the end of the season. Time to get Moyes tattoo on your back removed. That's on. I've fed up with the fans saying we are missing Paqueta. Well, but we are. I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but we simply are as well. Sorry, Carrick is not ready for us yet. Middlesbrough look poor. They're not enjoying playing. Sack Leicester season an interim season. It could be any worse than this. Moyes' issues are self-inflicted, to be fair. Anton's finally turned 20 months too late. No. Anton hasn't. Anton has always been the same. Anton's been indifferent. There's a difference. Vincent's company should do wonders with our squads. The players have had enough. This is spending 500 million. You would want to see some return. No fans left and players not performing. I just think we have the cameras in the dressing room at halftime, as I think we give them to Biscuits to Black at halftime. Don't forget to give us a like. Will not change as long as this midget and his grubby little hands on the Moyes are in. I remember losing 6-1 away, so I want to go and have a beer in Westfields today. Usual quality. Back in the day, players played in the shirt and the badge. Nowadays, players play for the pay packet. I do not trust this board. With the right appointment, they will look for the cheapest option. Again, it's like Moyes Sullivan is the biggest problem holding us back. I completely agree with you more than anything out of that. It's the one man who holds us back. I think Moyes is unsettled the dressing room last season. Thanks, Anton, Russ, and everyone. Until next time, I think I'd started losing the dressing room in the last season when the squad called a meeting with Moyes to be allowed to be more attacking. I know. It was woeful. Got to go. I'm going to head soon, very soon. I'm going to try and jump down to the bottom. Our midfield is dreadful, and that's why we're missing Paquetá. He's gone anyway. Arsenal are truly dominant, exceptional performance. Sad part from Booming Rice. He gave everything for Hammers on top of the West Ham as well. Graham says, get the Luton manager in. Well, their trajectory is looking very different to ours. Trajectory. It's not very good, is it? Bilic and Noble, Dixon until the end of the season, please. Bye-bye, Moyes. Ricky, mate, come on. Please. Mate, come on. Moyes has not been liked by the players for a long time now. Anyway, I have overdone it on this one. We've been smashed 6-0 at home against Arsenal, and things are not looking good. Join us. I'll give you another reaction video later on, and we'll join Russ tomorrow. I was going to say for the player ratings, but it's not happening. So you'll get your chance to come in and have a say. We'll get the phone calls working again, and get the phone calls in to the channel, and we can go from there. Anyway, listen, thank you very much for watching. It's not been a great day at the office, but go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you can. Much appreciated for the support. I love West Ham, as you do. Take it easy and come on, you Irons.